We will call to order the regular board meeting of the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago. Good morning. My name is Maricel Hernandez. I'm the chair, and with me today is Commissioner William Cressy
Present.
and Commissioner June Brown.
Present.
Next item on the agenda is the consideration of the agenda, and the proposal is to not address 7A at this time. Is that agreeable to both commissioners?
It is to me.
Deferral on that is concurable, yes.
Thank you. So we will continue with the agenda, and we have meeting minutes of February 11, 2025, February 25th, 2025, and March 25th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve these three sets of regular board meeting minutes?
So moved by Commissioner Cressy.
Seconded by Commissioner Brown.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next is the interim executive director's report. Mrs. Spera.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioner Brown and Commissioner Cressy. I learned last week that this office building will start resurfacing the dock area located directly above the central count room. Staff has relocated the election equipment to alternate storage rooms to avoid any potential damage to the equipment. This resurfacing project is anticipated to be completed by Friday, May 2nd. I conducted a site tour and assessment of the proposed super site at 137 South State Street on March 26th and met with staff to discuss my concerns. Staff revisited the location yesterday, April 7th, to reassess the space to make sure it is suitable. It has suitable space for early voting. I visited the board's warehouse about 2 weeks ago and learned that life and safety work is anticipated to be completed by this October. I was also made aware there is a lease pending for 1819 and requested the status from the board's contractor. I met and attempted to clarify the various phases which have been presented to the board, but have found numerous inconsistencies which I will need to address. I participated in the precinct ballot printing IFB meeting last week, and we have set a tentative posting timeline for the first week of May. And finally, I would like to introduce our new procurement director, Carolina Roman, to the board members. Ms. Roman comes to us from the federal government, and we look forward to working with her.
Yes.
That
Good morning.
Thank you. Long awaited
Welcome.
and eagerly awaited.
Yes.
So, thank you so much for coming to this side, and whatever help we can be, please reach out. Okay?
Thank you.
Does that concludes your report?
That concludes my report, yes.
Okay. Any
Great.
questions?
You said you'd expand on the issues that you found later. Okay, thank you.
I will follow up.
Okay.
And the proposed a possible new early voting site on State Street, any major concerns with that?
Number one, there was one major concern. There was no data closet. The manager is working with the current owners.
Okay, very good. Okay, so keep our fingers crossed. Thank you much.
And now we will hear from our Public Information Director, Max Bever. Max?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We are past our big Chicago Voter Engagement Forum, and thank you to all the commissioners for your attendance as well as your involvement throughout all of these months. I think it's a lesson in even when you plan your event over 5 months in advance, you roll with the events of that day. But I am happy to say that our head count, we saw over 140 people ended up attending throughout the 5-hour day. Some came and returned, some stayed the entire 5 hours. We had a lot of engaged people, as well as a lot of students from MICVA Challenge throughout that day. We also coordinated with our partners at Harold Washington College to donate any uneaten food to students and to staff, as well as their on-site program for unhoused people. So I'm happy to say that none of our breakfast, none of our lunch went to waste for that day. I know people who were present. We did, unfortunately, for the first half of the event, run into some audio issues, especially for our panels. I am happy to say that does not seem to affect our video for the event. So we will have all 5 hours of the video available on our YouTube page in the near future, split up into our panels and our presentations. We'll also have an hour-long wrap-up video that's focusing on our public comment, our best responses from our panelists, and a wrap-up of the day as well, some smaller videos that will be available in the coming weeks. I'm also happy to say we had over 6,600 responses back to our online citywide survey. Pretty good sample. And from what we saw for the live voting, the survey that people were taking in the room, a lot of those answers really tracked from what we saw from the rest of the city. It's going to take us a little time to crunch through that data, especially our open word responses, but we are going to work on a final report that includes responses from the surveys, takeaways from the event, and then ultimately a big thank you to our panelists and people that were involved. I suspect that final report will be ready by early summer. I'll really try to get that done in May or early June. But I'm happy to say I think we'll have a lot of good information, a lot of good survey responses. And if you'll hold with me for a moment, I do want to give a big shout out to all of our panelists by name. They were very patient throughout the event, and we had a lot of people involved. But I want to give a special thank you to Cian Dupre with the Hispanic Federation, Kiara Hardin with Chicago Votes, Commissioner Rachel Arfa with the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, Grace Chan McKibben with the Coalition for a Better Chinese American Community, Jane Ruby and Catherine Mardikes with the League of Women Voters of Chicago, Kira Obradovich with the National Federation of the Blind of Illinois, Bibi Novich with Equip for Equality, Shobna Verma with the South Asian American Policy and Research Institute, Frank Spula with the Polish National Alliance, Ami Gandhi with Chicago Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights, and Elizabeth Grossman with Common Cause Illinois. Woo! So big thank you to all of our panelists and people who were involved, as well as people who served as moderators, including Lance Goff, our former executive director in our room today, Adam Lasker, and Nicholas Esposito, our ADA coordinator, and Jane Lau, our moderator for our language panel from Community Services. So a lot of planning and went into this event. We're glad that it went as smooth as generally things could go, despite a few audio issues to start off with. But I'm glad that we can share our video and our presentations and our survey results with the general public in the coming future. We are finalizing our RFP for our mobile app development. We're very happy to have our new procurement director. We were waiting for a final review. We do have just a couple of final updates from our IT department as well as our cybersecurity expert, but we expect to release that in the near future. That will be sent to the commissioners just for your awareness and any review before that gets released too. Ultimately, the goal then would hopefully be to ultimately choose and announce a vendor sometime in May, but we will continue to update the commissioners on what that timeline looks like moving forward. Our team to review will ultimately be made of people from communications, IT, community services, as well as administrative roles in determining the scores for those vendors in the future. But that will be released soon, and that will really be the communications department's main project now that we are past the forum for the upcoming months. But as it doesn't feel like it today, but as the weather gets warmer, we'll also be working with community services to start filling out our calendar for events, school, college, as well as different street fairs, our health fairs, and ultimately we will update our public calendar on the website with events that the board will be attending throughout the next few months. I believe that ends my report.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I just want to say thank you, Max. You did a wonderful job organizing the forum. And it's one of those things, you can't anticipate everything. As you know, there was a rather huge rally over here at Daley Plaza at the same time, and I think a lot of politically interested people who would have been at our forum heard the siren call of the rally and took them away. But I think the people who did attend the forum were quite pleased with the way it turned out. So thank you much, and And thank you to everyone who participated in that.
Yes. And I'll echo that sentiment. I want to thank you for all the time you put in to creating and executing this voter forum. I think it was very successful, and it had a whole lot to do with, all your efforts that you put into this forum. So thank you so much. I think it was great. And we'll plan to have another one at another point. Maybe make it a regular event every so often. But once again, thank you for everything.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think that, we got a lot of good feedback from the people at the event of how we could make this more regular without it necessarily needing to be in person or needing to be this decade-long, survey or check-in. Virtual forums in the future, especially working with many of our community partners, I think could be a good option for the future. But I appreciate the kind words. This was not a one-person effort. This was very much a big effort for staff and community services and the people that were present in this room,
Right.
as well as the involvement of our many different community partners and advocates. Again, there's a lot of competition. I do also want to give a special shout out to the Rainbow Push Coalition and to Reverend Jeanette Wilson. They really did want to attend, but on top of that, there was also a big event that they were hosting that weekend ultimately. So I think in the future, we will find different ways that we can work together in smaller events and keep this energy going.
Sure,
Sure
sure,
we will.
exactly. Thank you. Okay, let's go on to old business infrastructure projects and changes in election administration, including electronic poll books and voting equipment. Mrs. Spera, anything?
No, change.
Legislation, Mr. Lasker?
There's no update on an omnibus bill for today, Madam Chair.
Okay, if not, then we'll jump into your legal report.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I want to join everybody in welcoming Carolina Roman. I'm very glad to have someone filling that position, and her credentials are great. I feel sorry for the Northern District Courthouse for losing you, but their loss is our gain. So I look forward to getting started with.
They're not going to hold it against us, are they?
Well, I hope not. I certainly
Okay.
hope. And then I wanted to let you know that the State Board of Elections has published its proposed administrative rules under the new, relatively new automatic voter registration legislation, and there's a 40-day comment period on that, so I'm going to have Mrs. Spera and I meet with the management from our registration department and our IT department just to kind of go through those proposed rules. I've already taken a look, and most of the administration happens, with the agencies that are doing the automatic voter registration intake and then their submission of data to the State Board of Elections. That's the volume of the rules, so they don't directly impact us. And then, of course, there's a little bit of back and forth between our agency, all election authorities, and the State Board of Elections. But we'll meet with them and just make sure that we're okay and don't have any comments to provide. I did want to highlight one thing, because when automatic voter registration first started here, this board, I think quite wisely, stood up to express a concern about the fact that when it first started, it was opt-out kind of program. People were automatically put into automatic voter registration at these various agencies, and it was a potential problem for non-citizens.
Right.
And so what I'm very pleased to see is that, the legislature has since heard our concerns on that. The State Board of Elections here also, I think, very wisely has listened. There are going to be 3 different categories of the kinds of programs, automatic voter registration programs, that the various agencies, state agencies, can perform. Category 1 is opt-in, where the person who's standing at the counter of whether it's the DMV or any other kind of state office, they can affirmatively opt in to the voter registration. That's the way we'd prefer it, right? Then there's a website transfer, which is where the agency can just say, well, why don't you go, here's a computer terminal where you yourself can go to a website-based interface to either update your name and registration address or to register to vote. The third category is opt-out, but the security measure there is that the only state agencies that are allowed to run an opt-out program are those that, as a part of their regular course of business, are intaking what's called in the rules reliable personal information indicating citizenship. So they already know that the person is a valid citizen. That's the only kind of an agency that can use the opt-out program.
What agencies would that be, aside from the Secretary of State? Do you know?
It doesn't list that in the rules, and I have not researched that, so off the top of my head, I don't know that.
And I'd like to note for the record, I know the Secretary of State has themselves put in some new controls to prevent some of the sad situations that have occurred before when their people have registered people to vote when they were
Inadvertently,
not qualified. So hopefully, whatever other agencies would be in an opt-out situation, that they will adopt those same controls.
Yeah. Now, Madam Chair, there is in the rules a list of the kinds of documents that qualify as that reliable personal information indicating citizenship. So it's going to be an agency that intakes a valid passport, an original or certified copy of a birth certificate, a consular report of birth abroad from the U.S. Department of State, a certificate of naturalization from the Department of Homeland Security, or a certificate of citizenship from the Department of Homeland Security. So
Okay.
those are the documents that must be a part of their regular course of business in order for them to qualify to do an opt-out program. So, long story short, I am hopeful under the draft rules as they're written that the voter registrations we will eventually be receiving from the State Board of Elections through this system will be only for qualified citizens, and administratively, we have been receiving this kind of data for a while now, so we're already, it's already a process that we're familiar with. So moving forward, everything should be good. And that's what I have to report on for today.
Okay.
Thank you.
No questions? Okay. We have no financial reports today. Do we have any requests for public comment? No? Okay. Carolina, I don't know if you'd like to introduce yourself, because we've been introducing you. And just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of, how long have you been here now?
This is day 2 for me.
So how do you like it so far?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, as everyone mentioned, I was with the U.S. District Court, so I was about 2 blocks away, and they were very upset that I left. But of course, they understood this was a great opportunity for me. I was a procurement specialist prior to starting here, but I was with them for about 3 years. And I was also a financial specialist, and I was also an operations and docketing specialist for them as well. So I have a very diverse background in procurement, financial management, and legal support. But I am a Chicago native. I'm very proud of that. It's always been a dream of mine to work for the city of Chicago. I was born and raised in the north side of the city and currently reside in Portage Park. So I'm very excited to be here. I hope to hit the ground running, and I appreciate everyone. Everyone's been very welcoming, so thank you.
And I assume you're a registered voter.
Absolutely. Absolutely, of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there is no need for executive session today.
Correct, Madam Chair.
And as a result, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved by Commissioner Cressy.
So moved by, seconded by Commissioner Brown.
Okay, then I'll second it.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, and we are adjourned for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.